So, welcome everybody to Libations and Sensations. I'm here with my really good friend David Zumaya. It was really fun and interesting getting this all started, but now we're actually in a podcast studio, which is really exciting for me. So, I just want to thank you for taking the time to set this all up. I'm really excited to see how it goes.
You got it.
So, me and David Zumaya met at Cafecito, which is a networking group that you are the founder and you put that together. Want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we started Cafecito just a way to bring people together. It started like 8 years ago here in Oceanside, and slowly we grew and grew and grew. Now we're doing 12 events per month from Chula Vista, Lemon Grove, Escondido, Oceanside.
Dang, so you're all over.
Not by choice, but by need. Let's put it that way.
Well, it's good. I think you are doing something special because you're giving not just one specific area of San Diego County the opportunity to network. You're giving multiple areas, and collectively, I think it's been a success.
I feel pretty proud of the successes. Last year, I think, let's say we did like 100 and, no, not 100, yeah, that's it, 12, like 150 different events last year.
Wow.
Was that crazy?
It's a lot. I don't know anybody that's doing what you do.
Well, it's something unique, but the drive, what drives it is not ego and greed. It's passion about bringing people together.
Right.
That's what it is.
And so, tying into that, what would you say is your favorite thing about Cafecito?
Nothing really stands out sharp, but the things that I do like is just bringing people together and seeing the relationships develop. The one thing that I do that I can add to that is that when I see somebody completely green that doesn't know anything about networking, or really shy, or really, whatever that quiet individual is, they're not used to speaking to a group of people, let alone a networking group. So it's just walking them through the whole process and showing them what really gets some takeaways off of it, and how to really present themselves the best possible. And my biggest takeaway to those people is, whatever you do, make a mistake here. If you make a mistake, we're not going to critique you. We're going to support you.
Yeah, and when I started my business about 3 years ago, I told myself, okay, you need to get involved with networking. You got to get out there. You got to meet people. And Cafecito was the first one I went to. And the amount of people that were there was just a little intimidating. And I thought to myself, okay, you've already walked through the door. You're here. Make it happen. And I have to say, everybody was so inviting. I think somebody bought my coffee. They're like, oh, you're new here? The guy in front of me, I don't remember who it was, but they bought me a coffee. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, so welcome with open arms. Right. And since then, I've been attending your groups for like over 3 years now.
It's been wow.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Maybe shorter. I don't know. But 2 to 3 years window. And so you're also involved in many different organizations as well as your own endeavors. Want to tell us more about those?
Well, the one that I started, Cafecito is actually a subset. People think Cafecito is this big platform, but it actually began as a subset because I've been creating here in North County. So I'm originally from San Diego. I grew up in South Bay, Chula Vista. Then I moved to North County in '85. Then I moved to Escondido in like '97. And then in around 2000, I forget what year it was, 6-7 years ago. So let's say 2015, 17, around there, I ended up working in Oceanside. So the North County has so many different pockets in North County. You have 10 different cities, and there's no collective voice. So my center, North County, was born because of that. Is to create a collective voice. You can't do it physically, economically, politically, but you can do it digitally. So what I created is basically an online directory for North County. Is if you want to know where concerts are at, where to wine and dine, beer, where a plumber or realtor's at. The whole goal that we're developing and building is a North County platform to show if you want to find a bartender to come to your party, there's a platform that person could promote themselves. I don't want to be too cheesy and call it like a yellow pages or a white pages, like a yellow pages, excuse me. But it is a collective platform. But in those years that we've been doing this, we have over 20,000 people on social media.
Wow.
So we focus a lot on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and some TikTok and some Twitter and some Threads. But, Facebook and Instagram are our go-to platforms. And that's what we did. And my city, North County, was that. So how do we get the message out there? We developed a platform called Cafecito.
Well, I think the reality of things now and being successful and, getting your brand out there is through social media.
Right.
It's just, it is what it is. And we got AI coming out, and that's just like the talk of the town right now.
Yeah, it's changing the whole world right now.
It really is. And I don't know. I think for me, it's a little, scary because I don't know anything about it, but I hear so many people talking about it and telling me, you need to get in on it. You need to know what it's about. You need to learn more. And I'm just like, well, where do I even start,
Right.
you know?
Well, we got resources for that. So part of my San Bernardino County is an organization called SBDC, Small Business Development Center, reached out to us to see how can we help them get the word out. So there's free business workshops and resources, and one of them is AI workshops.
Okay.
There's an AR workshop that they just do. People, your viewers or listeners, could just search SBDC on the website, and you'll find stuff. But there's a nice one. I took the class, so I knew a little bit about it. So I'm just like you.
Okay.
I'm still green, you know.
Yeah, learning the stuff, learning the things we need to know. And so, what is your stance on networking and how it benefits people, entrepreneurs, business owners?
Well, networking is something that people don't always understand, especially hard salespeople are just out there knocking on doors, pulling handles, as we call it, and just making sales, making sales, making sales. I mean, that's one way of doing it. And I mean, you got to hit so many doors before somebody's going to say yes and open up and welcome in. So to me, it is about building relationships. So my tagline I always tease around is we build relationships one cafecito at a time. So by coming and having a small group of 10, 20 people sit down and break bread, have a drink of coffee, or I mean, I drink lattes more than coffee, right? Some people that know me is you build relationships. You start having that conversation. You start, bringing that, what makes you unique, what makes you stand out. I always tell people, I always tell people, my best question to ask when we're doing networking is don't tell me what you do. We don't want to be like a salesperson. We call it commission breath or being, vomiting your sales pitch. I mean, what we want to do is tell us why you do what you do.
Right.
The more I understand why you do what you do, the more I want to relate to you, the more I want to connect with you, and the more I want to refer you or hire you. So that's what I love about networking is just connecting people like that.
And definitely building
Yeah,
relationships is
it's all about
super
relationships.
important. Yeah.
You build more, you get more sales with more relationships. Bottom line. At least that's my thought, I should say, right?
Oh yeah, and for sure. And I've, through networking, I've got to say, not knowing, I moved down here from San Jose, new to San Diego County, knowing no one, just connecting and putting myself out there and getting, to Cafecito and other networking events. That's how I've gotten majority of my clients.
Right.
And it is through I know someone that needs a bartender. I know a great bartender. And thank you to you. You've connected me with a lot of those people.
And that's what I think that's what I get really proud about. Not once did I see how much money can I make off of that. My thing is how can I help you be successful? But let me connect you with people that I know.
Right.
I think if this was a greedy platform, we'd be charging you for everything, right? I'd be, okay, you want that lead? Let's go commission. I'm not looking for that. We build relationships, and the reward will come. My reward is having a online subscription model that people can support me on that. But that's not my driving factor when I'm introducing you to somebody.
Yeah, and I totally agree, and I'm so thankful that you have that for us as well. And so, I'm a bartender and I love what I do. And part of it is the connecting with people as well, socializing, getting to know and make connections with people that, either have a passion for what you do or appreciate what you do. And so, kind of tying into that, I want to talk a little about fun bar stuff.
Okay.
So, on a personal level, what is your favorite cocktail to drink?
There's a list of them. Not just kidding.
That's okay. List them off.
I'll be honest. The first drink I really drank when I was already 21. Well, of course, some people drink before 21. I did.
Right.
So, but the first drink I had that I felt really comfortable drinking was a screwdriver.
Just vodka and orange juice.
And the reason being is because I love orange juice. I love, the Fridays, TGI Fridays used to have something called a Friday Freeze. It's basically an ice cream, orange sherbet shake with vodka in it. It was like the bomb.
Orange sherbet shake.
Yeah, so you can still find this on a Friday
yeah.
Freeze. So, I don't know if they put milk or ice cream and orange juice or something orange, and then they put vodka in there. That was my favorite drink, my first drink I ever had. I love my margaritas. I still like my vodka, but if I had my choice at a bar to have a drink and money's no object, let's say, I'm going to just have me a nice sipping tequila, top shelf.
Okay.
A Clase Azul, reposado. That's my go-to if I just go sit down and drink.
Just have a nice sipper.
Yeah. And everything else, you got the wine and beer stuff, but I prefer sometimes just drinking water.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I go out. I've been going out to dinner, and I'm like, just a Pellegrino sounds really good with a
Uh,
lime. Sounds so
well, you know
nice.
what I did is I used to drink a lot of. I mean, I drink a lot of junk, sodas, ice cream, shakes. I mean, you name it, I've drank it, and so in my healthy transition is, I found that at a restaurant, if I have a soda or a flavored lemonade, I'll be refilling that thing 2, 3 times.
Right.
What I loved about alcohol is if you order a glass of wine, you're not going to refill that 3, 4 times because you're going to get hammered when you walk out the
Right.
door.
And it's going to cost a
Oh,
lot.
exactly. So what I found is just I have a glass of wine with my meal and just one, and I'm done.
You're done, yeah.
And then I drink water the rest of the time. So alcohol's actually helped me be more health conscious because drinking a glass of wine made me not drink 10 soda refills at a restaurant,
Wow. I
So
love
there you
that.
go. The health benefits of alcohol.
Right. Oh my I love that. Yes. And once in a while, like I try to go through these periods of, okay, I'm not going to drink, but then a special occasion arises, and I'm like, all right, this calls for a cocktail.
Yeah. So,
Do you have like a favorite restaurant or bar that you like to go to after a long day?
if I had to hang out, I mean, my friend has a restaurant in Escondido, and you know him, Juan. Sierra Madre Cantina is a go-to place. It's really nice. Of course, when you know people at the bar, it's like cheers. Norm.
Right, right.
And that's how I feel when I'm at Sierra Madre because I know several people there. But if I just had a blanket restaurant that I didn't know anybody and I just something casual, I mean, I always like a nice brigantine margarita. The
Oh,
brig
okay.
margarita and a fish taco is a nice one, but going to Sierra Madre and getting their Cadillac margarita and they have something called tamarindo wings.
Tamarindo
Yeah,
wings.
yeah.
Oh,
So
yum. That sounds so
if you like
good.
buffalo wings, these are even better.
Okay. I think I have to take a trip
There you go.
to Sierra
Yeah,
Madre. Yeah, last time I was there was you had an event there. It
yeah.
was Dia de los
Yeah, we did Dia
Muertos.
de los Muertos. We do that every year, twice with them so far. So we're looking forward to making sure we can do that again for October or November. Excuse me, November 2nd, 1st. I forget what's the official day.
Okay, good to know. So we'll keep you guys updated
There you
on
go.
that info.
Yeah.
And so, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs and people trying to build their brand through media? Because I know media is your forte.
Well, I love media. I mean, digital media. I always tell people, and it's funny, I just did a post on this. So, I've been blessed. Like I said, I'm working with Small Business Development Center, so I'm a business advisor for small startups. And even in Cafecitos, when we talk to people, we always say, what's your first thing you should do when you have a business or a business idea? And everybody has theirs. We did a round robin, get a business plan. What else? Go file your fictitious business name. And being a digital person, my thing is, and my advice to anybody starting a business is go own your name, own your assets wherever you can. Because the business plan and the financials and all that stuff will come later.
Mm.
So go down to whatever website, GoDaddy, register, whatever it is, .com or Bluehost, right? And own your name. So whatever that business name you have, own it because by you owning it, nobody's ever going to take that away from you. I mean, unless you don't pay the annual bill, right? And that's one thing. And then from there, you add and then you go set up all your social media profiles. So you own your Facebook page, you own your YouTube, you own your TikTok, you own all these different pages. So you don't have these people trying to steal your identity. So that's the
Smart.
first step. That's very digital focused. Of course, having a business plan, having a well thought out business plan, going down to the county of San Diego or the county where you reside in and registering your name officially with the county so nobody else could take your name from that part. So
So,
those are a couple of first steps. I mean, again, to me, it's all digital. I own my name. So own your business name, but own your personal name. So I own davidzumaya.com.
okay.
So I suggest everybody to own their full name.com because you never know, right?
You never know. And there's a lot of people out there trying to
There's
steal our
haters. There's
identity.
haters.
Haters are gonna hate.
Exactly. Isn't that what she says, Miss
Yeah,
Red?
yeah. I mean, it's yeah. So tying into that, can you tell us about a challenge that you faced in your career and how you overcame it?
Wow. The deja vu all over again. Not kidding.
Right.
We were with our friends.
Asking the question.
I know I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce, and we had a question similar to that. They said pivot was the word. How'd you pivot? But we all have challenges in our life. I mean, nobody's perfect. I always tell people, whatever you're going to do, you're going to falling forward. So you keep on moving and learn from that mistake. So, the biggest rough part I ever had in my life was, in 2000, the crash in 2007. here you are having a nice career, nice home base and everything else, and then all of a sudden nobody's buying your stuff.
Yeah, scary.
I'm a stay-home dad raising four daughters, and at that time I was doing photography professionally full time and had a really lucrative, nice career happening. And then all of a sudden nobody's buying. Nobody has money. Nobody
Scary.
losing
Yeah.
their house or whatever else is happening. So that was my strong point that, I don't want to say it was my bottom, but when you're in a position and you're about to lose a house and you had to pivot really fast, I mean, you do what you got to do and you got to change. So, I was blessed that I had a lot of support behind me, but I took advantage or opportunity at that time as I went back and finished my education, which I never did in college. So I was a lifelong learner in college, and I did so many different schools, but collectively I never got a degree out of it. So I went back, God, right after that, I think in 2011 is when I finally finished my bachelor's degree. 2012, finished my master's degree. And that's what brought me to where I'm at. That master's degree is how my St. North County was born,
Wow.
and how this relationship building was born. Because I was a very shy introvert person. And during that pandemic, not the pandemic A, but the crash right there in '07, is you had to sink or swim. So I could just been an introvert, shy, nobody's buying my stuff, I don't know what to do, or you just be outgoing and go out there and put yourself in front of people, which is very uncomfortable, because you have to survive, you have to support. I mean, my four daughters were everything for me, and they still are, of course.
Oh, I love
But I mean,
that.
being a dad of four daughters and seeing them grow up, and two of them finish college, one's in college still, and the other one's in high school. It's been my best thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh,
So that's what kept me going during that downfall. Basically you're reinventing yourself, but at the same time I'm always remembering my family. So
well, I think you kind of answered my next question, which was what inspired you to pursue your field of expertise?
it's all about family, right?
Right.
Everybody's got a mom story somewhere. I'm hoping everybody has a mom story, I should say, because not everybody's blessed that. But I had a mom that I never realized until now. It's funny, it just came recently. She was a laborer. She worked in the kitchen.
Hard worker.
Yeah, she was a hard worker. Worked in a hospital kitchen. She was a baker for the kitchen, and she was able to raise three kids as a single parent and pay off a house.
Wow.
And a decent house. I should say, not grand thing, but it was still a really respectable place that I grew up in, down in South Bay and Chula Vista. But I never realized that, my mom was a hustler. She worked 9 to 5, very conservative in everything she did. But on weekends, she would go hustle wedding cakes, catering jobs, anything special, just to go find how to make an extra buck to take care of her family. And I never realized that she was an entrepreneur. I mean, before I was born, they owned property. They built a house and made sure that when they built the house, there was 2 units on it, so she could rent the back house, live in the
Wow.
front house
Smart
to pay all the
woman.
house.
Yeah.
And then from that house, she went and bought a second house with her my parents were still together. But she's always inspired me. So rest in peace. My mom's it.
Sorry. Yeah. But she had a good life and
Yeah.
she taught you
Oh
well.
yeah. I'm only the person I am because of what she did. So.
The other day I had I'm really close with my aunt. And, if ever I feel like I'm having a challenge or a problem, I'll call her
Right.
because, she's just really a neutral, calm person, really encouraging. And she helps me get through a lot of stuff. And there was a particular time where I was like, I am really struggling. It's hard, So I called her and I'm upset. And she's just like, you got to remember, we got a lot of our strengths from grandma, which is her mom. My grandma's an amazing woman and she's 96. And I
Wow.
always tell people she's the youngest person I know because
Yeah.
she's just so
Right.
young hearted. And she's like, remember, she raised 7 kids working full time. She went through a lot of
Right.
struggles and she did this for her family to do their best and not face these kinds of
Right.
struggles. And I was like, you're right. Like, if my grandma can get through everything that she has been through for 96 years,
Right.
I can get through this little hurdle.
Wow.
And it made it so much easier to get through my challenge. And I was like, I'm going to come out of this like way better, way brighter. And I'm thankful for her to that. And so I love hearing that about your mom because I feel like I have that same connection with my grandma and
Right.
she's taught us a lot and how
Right.
to just push through and persevere because there's just, you can get through anything.
And that's what it's all about. Is be focused in what your foundation is and what your strengths are, and build on that. You know, you talk about these stories about, our parents and our grandparents. I mean, imagine they did all that without a smartphone,
Right?
without fast food drive-throughs,
Without,
without
wow.
cable, without. Here's the funniest thing: when you think about how the generations way before, they didn't have Pampers back then.
It was all cloth diapers.
Exactly. Imagine, not just having to raise four kids. Somebody's got to clean up after those four kids, and it's not just a recycle and throw out like how our world's so disposable that way now. It's you had to recycle and reuse everything you had because you couldn't afford just to keep buying new things, right?
Right.
It's crazy, but yeah, no, we appreciate our seniors, right? Love
Yeah.
it.
And a shout out to my mom who is with my grandma currently, and she's basically dedicating her life to just being with her and helping her. And, you know, I'm so thankful to my mom for taking care of my grandma. And it's just amazing. Women are amazing. I got a lot of amazing women in my life. I love that you're a girl dad because you're raising some great women, and that's very admirable.
Oh,
So
thank you.
kudos to you. Can you discuss any projects or initiatives that you are currently working on or that you are passionate about?
Well, there's way too many of them. And my thing, staying focused sometimes is a little bit challenging when somebody has a attention deficit, ADHD, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
It's like,
it's
what?
great creative juice, but it's trying to stay focused. But, the only one project, especially right now, we're doing this in March. We probably won't see it. If anybody sees this and it's not in March, you won't really get it. But in March is Women's History Month.
Okay.
So Women's History Month is every March, and what I came up with this idea, and we made it happen, and within 4 days we did it happen. And from that, we created another one and another one. So what that idea was is we wanted to do a group photo shoot. I mean, thank you for joining us on Saturday. So
Yes,
I
thank
call
you.
it the first one was in Fallbrook, so women of Fallbrook. Then we did women of Escondido. Saturday we did women of Cafecito, San Diego. Tonight we're doing a women's of Cafecito, North County. We're doing a women of Vista, women of Poway. Those are just a launch of it. And next year will be a little more structured. But the whole idea is how do we recognize the women that have done what they've done for this community? Family, community, business, nonprofit, everything else. So that was a project that I'm working on. And from this little seed, I see next year is going to be fantastic. We'll be more structured, more organized. Instead of coming up with an idea on a Sunday and make it happen on Friday, which is crazy, but we did. We got
Yeah.
60 ladies that come
A
together,
lot.
past mayors, business owners. I mean, everybody you could think of, we made it happen. And those that couldn't make it just goes short notice and scheduling, but they were invited as well. And now we're doing it again in Vista and Poway and here in Oceanside today. So that's a project that I really love. But the one that's dear to my heart is being my mom was born in Los Angeles but raised in Mexico, and then so we're working on a new project for Latino businesses, which is kind of how Cafecito had its foundation. Cafecito Networking was to how do we support Latino, Hispanic businesses or Spanish speaking businesses and show them about networking. So that was the first concept of it. Then it evolved, right? Involved? Yeah, involved. Revolved? Come on, what's that word?
Sounds right to me.
There you go. It grew up.
Screw
So,
up. I love it.
so the last thing, the other project that we're in the midst of launching is going to be launched on Hispanic Heritage Month is to do a Hispanic Business Coalition. So the whole idea is to support Latino businesses that need that help. But it's not just Latino businesses, it's any business that's serving the Latino community. San Diego has over 40% Latino population.
Wow.
And some cities have more and some cities have less, of course. But regardless, there's always going to be a Latino restaurant or Latino business of some sort, or there's always going to be a business selling to the Latino community. Is my goal with this organization that we're collectively putting together. It's a nonprofit that we're launching. It's called it's called Latino Business Coalitions. How do we help out businesses be successful? How do we educate them with resources, provide some with SBDC, financial literacy, workforce development, anything to help that business grow and develop. So that's the second project. We'll see. You'll see this one happen over this year with the launch of coming back and doing the business expo we do in October. We'll have another Hispanic Heritage Month presentation of businesses here in San Diego, in North County specifically.
So cool.
Lots of stuff.
You're doing a lot of good things for
Non-stop.
the community. Yeah. Well, I'm so thankful to have met you. I'm so thankful to have the relationship that we have.
Right.
You know, you've helped me out so much. And even being here today and taking the time
Right.
to set this all up, we're in an actual podcast studio, and I've had this idea for years. Like me and my best friend have talked about having our own podcast, and we're still going to do that, but
Right.
we're away, so we got to figure out like how to do our own
Right.
podcast via Skype, and that's just like another project.
Right.
But the fact that we're actually in here and doing it, I feel so successful. I feel like I'm, doing what I said I would. And thanks to you for helping me put this all together. It really means a lot. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you showing up to Cafecito. Sometimes it's really hard to get out of bed super early and drive, 40 minutes to Vista, whatever it is. But you're doing it, and I wake up, and when I struggle, I think, you know what? David's doing this like 2 to 3 times a week. I can give 1 to 2 days. Like, it's fine.
Well, the secret of the formula is showing up.
Showing up, yeah.
Showing up is half the battle. And sometimes it is a battle.
It is a battle.
Really. That snooze button on my phone is like, God, okay, the second one I'm stopping, I'm getting out,
You know what? I've gotten a lot better. I used to have like 4 different alarms that would pop off, and now I'm down to 2.
Sweet.
And it's the second snooze. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to give you a little more time here to relax. But then when the second snooze comes up, you got to get out of bed.
Yeah.
And so I find that it's helping me. And
we'll make it happen. There's success for everybody, right?
Exactly. So. But it's also that saying, early bird gets the worm. Right. So if you're out there and you're hustling and you're,
right.
doing the thing, then you're going to be fine.
Right.
And so, but thank you so much.
You got it. I appreciate you. This is awesome.
This is fun. I know. Many more to come.
There you go. Yes, this is the first step of a long journey that we're having.
Right.
Cool.
So, if anybody can help you or connect with you in any way, how do they get through to you?
Well, my biggest ask is, first of all, we have an online directory. So, online directories. What's an online directory? Well, every city has its little directory. From a chamber of commerce or a business association. But in North County, we had 10 cities, and what I'm doing is bringing them together. So I'm asking people to come out to our online directory at My Single North County and just subscribe. It's a small fee, monthly fee, and you don't not asking for thousands of dollars up front. We're just asking, support what we're doing. The more people we have on it, the better services we could provide. But everything is about marketing, digital marketing. So anybody that's on the platform subscribing with their business presence there, with all this SEO, search engine optimization benefits you get out of that, I will also also engage with them on whatever media posts that we can, or do one-on-one with them and support them. That's what we're doing with My St. North County. So join us on the on the My St. North County website as a directory listing. And then we also have the companion to that, which is the Cafecito Business Networking Directory. So one is a business directory, the other one is a professional directory, meaning that I call it LinkedIn for San Diego.
I love it. LinkedIn. It basically is that, yeah.
Exactly. So if you go to a Cafecito event and you forgot who was there, you look at the site and it has everybody's pictures just like it would be on LinkedIn. And it's not as robust as something with multi-billion-dollar business like what Microsoft owns LinkedIn, but it's just me. So help the cause, and we're there. So join us online on the directory and follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram and all the good platforms.
All the good stuff, yes. And also tune in to the Libations and Sensations page on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all the good stuff. And I am connected with David and Cafecito on those platforms as well. Okay. So, and thanks to all the listeners that have been tuning in. I look forward to just bringing out more people and having a good time. And I hope you all are enjoying. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Appreciate it.